Welcome to the Darwin Waterfront Precinct, here in Australia's top end. Today, I'm going to be flying with Air North as I cross the Gulf of Carpentaria, bound for Cairns via Gove. Whenever I visit Darwin, I usually end up doing the same thing every single time, which is to eat crocodile, stay in the Darwin City Hotel, drinking my weight in alcohol, and waking up at stupid o'clock for a flight out of the territory on some unique route. And today was no exception. Air North is, at least in my opinion, the most unique airline in Australia, as it is the only full-service carrier that does not fly to the three major cities, Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane. Instead, they operate solely in Australia's northernmost states and territory. Whenever I am presented with the opportunity to fly with them, I always take the time to work them into my schedule. Darwin is by far Australia's smallest capital city, located at the very top of the Northern Territory and Australia itself. It serves as the gateway to the stunning Kakadu and Litchfield national parks, but also thanks to its close proximity to Asia, Darwin is often considered as Australia's gateway to Asia, being one of the original stops along Qantas's kangaroo route. As my time in the city had come to its end, I quickly hopped into an Uber which would take me to the airport, which is by far the easiest way to get to the airport from the CBD. Having arrived at the terminal building, I swiftly made my way inside the building to start the check-in process. Since the last time I was here, the check-in layout has changed, with kiosks now being the sole form of check-in. However, Air North uses these in a more traditional fashion, with a staff member being behind each kiosk. Check-in this morning was very easy and efficient, taking no time to complete. Air North does not offer seat selection on board their flights, at least during the booking process. However, upon request, the ground staff are more than willing to select your desired seat. Up next was security, which is located to the far left of the building, adjacent to the check-in area. Security this morning was completely empty. I was the only person to be passing through at the time, which made the process that little bit easier. After security and heading up the stairs, Darwin Airport is laid out in a giant corridor with gates only found on the left-hand side and a mix of restaurants, cafes, bars and general stores on both sides. Approximately half an hour after I had cleared security, today's aircraft was pulled in onto the stand, which today is an Embraer E190AR, registered as Victor Hotel Alpha 2 Alpha. Construction of this airframe was completed at the Embraer final assembly line in São José dos Campos, Brazil in February of 2006, being delivered brand new to JetBlue later the same month. She was then sent to Air North in December of 2024, which makes this aircraft 19.5 years old. The boarding call was then shortly announced over the public announcement speaker at gate number 7. Air North's E190s all have the exact same configuration, being fitted with 104 standard economy class seats in a 2-2 layout. This morning, I shall be seated in 22 Foxtrot on the right-hand side or starboard side of the aircraft. The economy class seat features 32 inches or 81 centimeters of pitch and 17.7 inches or 45 centimeters of width. There is a standard tray table that folds down but does not extend towards you. In the seat back pocket, you'll find a standard safety card and air sickness bag. Above are individual reading lights, air vents, and a flight attendant call button. Soon we commenced our pushback from Gate 7, 7 minutes ahead of our scheduled departure time.
Now, for the final preparations for takeoff, please ensure.
We taxied to runway 11 via Bravo 2 only. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff. After takeoff, we continued straight out over Palmerston City, which set up our easterly course for Gove. Flight time for the first leg is 59 minutes, covering a distance of 411 miles or 661 kilometers, cruising at 39,000 feet. During our climb away from the airfield, we passed directly by the Darwin Aviation Museum and Winelli to the right, and in the distance was the Darwin Central Business District. As we continued east out of Darwin, we passed over Adelaide River, which is well known for its high concentration of saltwater crocodiles. Shortly after, the cabin crew commenced the in-flight service, which, for this leg, I was given some banana bread from Soulful Kitchen and a cup of coffee with sugar. Whilst enjoying breakfast, down below was the Ranger uranium mine, one of the previously largest uranium mines in the country, served by the Jabiru airfield. Soon we commenced our descent into Gove. As the aircraft slowly fell back to Earth, my eyes remained glued to the window, as this is one part of the country that I had never seen before. Due to the position of Australia's major cities, unless you are flying to Gove, most flight paths do not pass over this region of the country, which leaves it relatively unseen. In particular today, I was most looking forward to seeing the rich red soil and crystal clear blue water clash against each other, and at first I was a little disappointed, as the weather in the region was rather poor, until the clouds parted and the beautiful landscape was revealed. Now please enjoy this unedited landing. After landing, we taxied to the terminal via Echo only.
Welcome to Gove. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft.
We pulled onto stand 3, 15 minutes ahead of our scheduled arrival time. Welcome to Gove Airport, which, interestingly, is not named after any town in the region, rather the Gove Peninsula. This area of Arnhem Land, primarily owned by the traditional Aboriginal people that I can't pronounce, is best known for its bauxite mining, which is the raw material that makes aluminium. However, I cannot go without mentioning that the unique beauty of this place is so sacred to the First Nations people that visitors often require permits to access the area. Unfortunately for me, I won't be staying here, so for now, it's time to continue onwards to Cairns. Soon the cabin crew closed the doors and the safety briefing commenced 19 minutes ahead of our scheduled departure time.
To make sure you are safe, comfortable and ready for takeoff.
As your safety is important to us, we now require your complete attention as we demonstrate the safety features. If oxygen is required, masks will drop from the overhead panel. Remove it from its retainer. Pull down firmly on the mask to release the oxygen flow. Place over your mouth and nose. Breathe normally. Here at Air North, thank you for your attention. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the great Air North service.
We taxied to runway 13 via Echo and runway 31. Now please enjoy this unedited takeoff. After takeoff, we made a slight left-hand turn over the Dili Bay, which set up our easterly course for Cairns. Flight time for the second and final leg is 1 hour and 30 minutes, covering a distance of 684 miles or 1,100 kilometers, cruising at 37,000 feet. As the clouds parted during our ascent to cruise, down below was Cape Arnhem and Oyster Beach, famous in the region for its abundance of stunning pearl oysters. As we continued over the Gulf of Carpentaria, the cabin crew commenced the second in-flight service, and on this leg I was served a Charlie's chocolate cookie as well as a Dreamtime Tucker macadamia granola slice. I was also given a bottle of water. While Whilst the cookie was very rich, the granola slice was rather simple in terms of flavour. As we crossed over the western coastline of the Cape York Peninsula, directly beneath the aircraft was the tiny town of Porumparor. On board the aircraft are 2 bathrooms, one at the front and one at the rear. Inside is everything you would typically come to expect for this aircraft type, including a baby changing station. However, unexpectedly, Virgin Australia branded hand soap was also present. Soon we commenced our descent into Cairns. Much like in Gove, the weather in Cairns today was a mix of heavy cloud and precipitation, as well as clear, crystal, sunny sky. When flying into Cairns, I generally recommend sitting on the right-hand side of the aircraft, as depending on which runway you end up landing on, you'll either see the city, the high peaks from the south and the Great Barrier Reef, or the Kuranda State Forest and village from the north, which the latter was today's case, as the aircraft made a sweeping right-hand turn after clearing the mountains and then passing over the sea. Now please enjoy this unedited landing.
Welcome to Cairns. This is your main delivery to the aircraft has come to complete stop.
After landing, we taxied back to the terminal via Bravo 4, Bravo, Charlie 4 and Charlie. We pulled into Gate 15, 21 minutes ahead of our scheduled arrival time. Stepping off the aircraft, I thanked the cabin crew for the flight before turning my attention away from Air North and towards reclaiming my bag. So, I just flew with Air North from Darwin to Cairns on an Embraer E190. What are my thoughts? Well, as always, let's start from the beginning. The check-in experience in Darwin was very easy and efficient, taking absolutely no time at all, though it was clear the staff on duty were very tired due to the early hour. Security, much like check-in, was also quick and easy, and not to mention very laid back. On board, the seat was your typical E190 seat, comfy for these less than 2-hour flights. However, even if the flight were 4 or 5 hours, I don't think I would have become uncomfortable, as these older seats have loads of padding. The food served on board was also pretty good. My favourite out of everything was definitely the macadamia slice, being not overly sweet, nor sticky. It's just a tasty slice. The cabin crew were very friendly with the passengers. However, I didn't really get a chance to speak with them properly, so I can't really comment on their feelings toward their jobs, though it was very interesting to see them clean the aircraft whilst in Gove. And lastly, I paid $450 for this one-way flight, which certainly is not cheap. However, when you consider competitor QantasLink charges well over $550 for this flight, it does make this airline far more attractive. So, would I recommend you to fly with Air North on this route? Well, if you have time up your sleeve and you don't mind the short stop in Gove, well then yes, of course. Air North remains as one of my top favourite airlines. I just hope that seat selection one day becomes an option in the future. Perhaps I'll have to fly with them between Cairns and Perth via Alice Springs. And with the video coming to a close, I'm now going to leave you with our aircraft departing back for Darwin. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment and subscribe, and make sure you check out my other videos if you want to see more. And I have said this before, but I now have a Discord server. Feel free to join. The link can be found at the top of the description. And as always, feel free to press the notification button too, as it will let you know whenever I upload, which, during this year's Xmas special, happens every Tuesday and Friday at 8 PM and Sunday at 5 PM Sydney time. And I hope to see you all again in the next one. See you later!